Okay. We are now live streaming. Okay. We have to declare, so how do you declare? Just
You just count. I
Okay,
mean,
you just
but
count.
got-
We
got
have
Pam walked in.
Yeah,
so
Pam
you got-
walked in, so we have a quorum, right?
Yep.
Okay, do we have any members and guests? I don't think so. I don't think we have anything on, well, we have Betty is.
I'm just on the advisory
Yes,
board.
okay. All right, and we don't have anybody here. Matter of fact, there's nobody on, so. So there's citizens to be heard. I don't think there is any, so we'll move on. We have everybody received a copy of the minutes of January 11. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
I second.
Second.
Okay, Jerry seconds. Dave Hatman is not here.
All in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you,
It'd be hard
Pam.
for me not to do that.
I thought she was all in favor because Dave had been.
Dave's not here and he has, you have in front of you the 2023 budget report. There's on the left side is the budget report.
But that, isn't that a separate line item? Finance and budget would be D, so this, all we report on now would be.
The finance, I said budget.
Yeah, he's at the third, the quarter hasn't ended until March 31st. And so he said that he would compile limited expenses that have incurred and he would email them to everyone, but he didn't have a report.
Okay,
He wasn't able to get that.
so
It's just no report,
no report, okay.
Okay.
and we'll make sure it's on the agenda for next time to approve the treasurer's report from,
For both.
both,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Committee reports, the month of February, I felt like I worked for the historical commission. Because
Can I make one more thing? I'm sorry, but
no worries.
when we go back up to the minutes for the November 9th, 2022, that's not the minutes we're approving.
No, it's the January 11th.
Okay, but it says here, November 9th, so just for correction.
No, that was the minutes, but her agenda was right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Shut
Yeah.
I didn't miss it.
Correct.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
We good?
We did.
Okay, so February, I spent seriously like a lot of hours with in Zoom meetings and training with THC. So they gave me a whole bunch of information that I did not disseminate to you guys because it's it's a lot. And I didn't want to inundate you with a lot of emails. Be more than happy to give you what I've got. They gave we did the cemetery webinar that they had. That was very interesting. And I think Pam was on that one as well.
Nice.
And so they gave me information on cemeteries if anybody wants that. They gave me information on outreach. They gave me information on adult outreach, youth outreach, and what other counties are doing. So if you guys want any of that, I'll be more than happy to forward it, but I've been slowly sifting through it. And I've picked out a few things that I talked with Pam and Betty on about some things that possibly we can do to get some new programs we might be able to help support or sponsor. And as we go through, I'm going to go through and kind of talk about them as we go through the committees. But my desired my desire for my term is to kind of go beyond the markers and kind of do some revitalization and getting more youth involved maybe. And I've got some ideas for that and maybe get some more recruit, might help with our recruitment as well. So of getting new members in. Also, what I didn't know either is, I guess, and you guys probably did. I'm sorry, what?
I didn't say anything. It was a bell, the doorbell or some kind of a bell rang.
there's a THC Harvey survey of historical places that took place a couple years ago, and the results should be in this June and July. So we should be expecting that. We have several areas that are going to be on that, to include Stella Maris, by the way, is on that report. Oh, and I forgot to say that I did finish the annual report. And our volunteer hours amounted to just shy of $39,000. $39,000 for the year, so that's kind of almost like a full-time job. If you guys have any other ideas on recruitment or getting some kind of outreach program going, please let me know. But okay, moving on, preservation and public policy.
Yeah, Mark's name is on it, but I'd like to take it.
Yeah.
Those of you who read the paper this morning saw this article on the front page. If you'll just pass it around, I only did a couple of copies. Anyway, this is about the awards for historic preservation that we give every May, because May is Historic Preservation Month. And so the three groups, the History Center, the Society, and the Commission all work on this. And so this is asking the general public to send in their nominations. And I brought a few blanks for you all to have. If you've got somebody, some group that you think should be nominated, it could be an organization or a person. This is all up on our website, both all three websites. Okay. And really, it's pretty simple. All it asks for is what's the project, what's the location, who are the owners, what was the scope of work, and photographs, and who's nominating it. And just so you have a little bit of history on it, what we've done in the past, Betty's often been the person who designed what we were doing. And so we have we always send out postcards to our various organizations. This is last year's postcard, if you'll just look at it and send it back around. And that went out inviting people to come to the ceremony itself. And the people that were honored last year, okay, just so you know, I can find it.
Jackie Shaw was one.
Year before, people that were honored were Jeff and Ann Hunt, what they did with the Fulton Brewell House, Michael Hines, which is the Rockport Cemetery, and then Jerry Brundrett and Linda Valdez accepted for the Friends of the History Center. So that was the first year that we did it. Okay. And then last year, I think people, have sort of forgotten when we started talking about it the last time. But last year, then, people who were honored were Jackie Shaw, because she had a significant part in moving the Stella Maris when it got moved in the 1980s. Ty Husak, who videotaped the move of the Klein building, so it got recognition. And then the San Antonio Aransas Pass Depot and the Cultural Arts District for doing that. So this is just an example of the program. And again, Betty's usually done the graphics for it. So if you want to pass this one around, this gives you a sense of what we're going to do. Again, I don't see any reason for changing much of it up. And it's be the third annual. I mean, it was kind of, kind of vague when we did the first annual, right? Because that's saying, okay, it's going to keep happening, but this will be the third annual. So we just need for you to think of any kind of historic preservation project. It doesn't have to be current, recent. It can be, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, that you see have contributed to people really appreciating history in Aransas County. But we need those nominations in by the 7th, I believe. Isn't that right?
7th, I think so. They,
7th of April.
yeah. 'Cause-
It's on that.
And we are meeting
okay.
on the 20th and the 10th, right? of April.
Right, we need an additional, usually the presidents or chairman of the different groups get together, but we need a second person from this group. Besides you and somebody else from this group.
For both meetings?
Yeah. Mhm.
Who can make the
Yeah.
20th of March and the 10th of April?
Not make, 20th of March. So that's next Monday, right?
Yeah.
It's coming out Monday.
We were meeting Pam at the we're meeting at the History Center, so
Right.
at 3:30, I believe.
It seemed like we needed to sort of really define it again for people that had not participated before and establish, even though we put what we wanted to hear from people, we put what we expected. When you get nominations in, you need some kind of a matrix to score, to rank them. And so that's what we're going to talk about on Monday, this Monday coming up. And then the next time we're going to review the nominations that we've got. So
Do you have any yet nominations?
I haven't seen any,
Mm.
but this is the first public announcement that just went in the paper today.
So who
Okay.
decides who gets it?
Who decides?
Yeah.
The
committee.
6-person committee. So 2 from the commission, 2 from the Friends, and 2 from the society.
So I need a second because I'll be there. I need a second.
And this is for which day?
The
Monday.
20th of March, which is a
You're not
Monday.
on Monday.
No, I could, make sure that I'm
Yeah.
okay.
Both of them are, no. Yeah, both of them are on a Monday.
Okay, the other one, I don't think I can manage.
What's the
for
other
some
day?
of the
It's the
things.
10th of
Yeah.
April at 10 o'clock.
I can probably make it.
It has to be the same 2 people,
Well, it
ideally.
lends
Ideally.
itself, to talking about the criteria that we want to use on Monday and then applying that criteria the following Monday. I mean,
Sandy, can you you can't make the 20th, you said that, right?
No, I think I can make both dates.
Okay.
I need to look. I'll let you know, but
Okay, that'll be perfect.
that'd be great. I'll send out a reminder and,
Do the nominations have to be in writing? If I threw a name out tonight, would y'all consider it?
no,
You wouldn't?
I have to have it in writing.
Writing, okay,
Uh-huh.
well,
3 pictures.
maybe, I don't know if I'll make the meeting, but Steve Russell is who I'm thinking about with what he's doing with those sculptures.
Sculptures, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea. It might be better next year after it's actually done,
Oh, yeah, if he,
but,
Steve's looking bad, I can just
Oh,
tell you.
Yeah,
that.
he is.
oh,
I'm
well,
just-
I'm all over that. I mean, I think that's a wonderful thing that's gonna happen.
Just his artwork, his a lot of historical stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's,
So
It doesn't, did you get a blank, Jerry?
I don't know.
It doesn't take much.
Greg going to.
It doesn't take much.
So in the past couple of years that this has been done, does the public generate very many, or is this coming from people like us?
Exactly.
That was good, thanks, Chad, because that was gonna be my question. How many nominations do you normally get? Or-
It hadn't been hard. Let me just-
Oh, that's what I figured.
Does it have to be a building?
No, it does not. A person, organization, or building. So,
What
Yeah.
the Marine program is doing at the high school with the Maritime Museum and the Zavala, that's kind of interesting. And then
Yeah.
the sculptures that just went on display at the museum.
Some of the older churches that got restored, would that be something that was,
it could, I think, the 5 major churches already have historic markers.
okay,
So that's just my sense, we've already
He lives on
acknowledged it,
wood.
I
by
got you. So
by
you
their
want
having
something
markers.
Jerry.
different.
something a little bit different, yeah, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, if you feel like the community effort that went into, a church restoration as a heritage project, put it down.
And what you're talking about with the museum, I just love that, but is that
I think it would qualify too. I mean, the History Center was one that got it for, restoring the building and bringing up the History Center as an institution.
I think it would be cool to do something that would include also, and I love about Steve Russell, but a younger generation, bringing them into the theme of enjoying in history and appreciation and bringing in the younger, the community the part of the community that we're missing. We're getting the little children and we're getting the old folks, the retirees and the little. I'd like to see young families, hey, talk to their children and say, we need to go to here or the museum and see, appreciation for history.
Well, the whole purpose of it is to, one more time, be able to have, be able to showcase that very thing. So that's, the purpose of doing this award is really to have a photo op, if you would. I mean, to, let it be something that we feature.
Did you bring a list of the ones that had already received it?
No, I just read them out.
Just read them out.
Yeah, oh, okay.
But I didn't bring, I didn't.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought we had
It's on,
more
Is it on
applications,
this
past
I
applications.
think it's that one for last year.
Yeah, it's sent around both of the programs. I can send it back around.
I think this was what went for last year, but you're
That's-
asking for all previous.
Yeah.
And what has this been going on 3 years?
This
This
is the
is the third year.
Okay.
So that,
Sure, she wants it back.
that's one program and this is one program now.
Sorry.
We don't have any pictures of that, but I know there's been artwork and on
Oh,
what he's doing.
Jennifer's, I'm sure would have
Well, yeah,
lots of pictures.
anyway. I put Steve Wilson's name down, we can pass it down, but they got approved the navigation is where they're gonna put it, and it's gonna be 12 foot off the ground. It's gonna be really beautiful when you come around that corner on 35 and Laurel at the end.
Yeah, I heard they were gonna keep them together instead of
Yeah, they're
separating
gonna
them.
put them together,
Yeah.
but I've seen artwork on it, renditions, but I don't have any copies of it. Just been working with Jennifer and Steve Russell on getting set up to do that. So anyway,
Thank you, Jerry.
what's that?
Thank you.
Well, that's just, if it doesn't work, that's fine too, but it just, Steve's looking bad. I saw him this past week and I don't know.
Yeah, when we had the big thing for Bert's send off, he didn't stay very long. He wasn't feeling well, and that was January.
I know.
All right, Texas Archaeology Month proclamation. I just have a question on that. Do I do that, Pam?
Yeah, it's real easy.
Yeah, I've got the Betty's stuff, but
The clerk also has it.
I have the posters for Archaeology Month.
okay, so what do we actually do? with
I
that?
gave them to each commissioner when I did it, but I didn't do it last year, but the year before I did. I handed each commissioner a poster. And then we had the proclamation, which Tracy should have in computer already, so we just duplicate that. And then it's read in front of Commissioner's Court. It's pretty much it, isn't it, Pam?
We can do as much or as little as we want to for Archaeology Month. And
Just for everybody's.
It's in October.
Oh, I was thinking September. Thank you. October.
yeah, it's October. And yeah, the simplest thing to do is a proclamation, and then that gets it up, through the court. The Texas Historic Commission does a poster every year, which they'll send you, don't worry. They'll ask you how many you want.
Okay.
It's one of those mini memos, so just pay attention.
Okay.
They're busy doing that. And then, we usually try to bring up, sometimes the Fulton Mansion has a series or a speaker. Sometimes the History Center does an afternoon program, which is what we did last year,
Okay.
was out in the yard, kind of archaeology fair. So, but that's not till October, but any of those things can happen with both of these. These are both statewide and nationwide things that allow you to tune in and, just bring up preservation in a different way.
Oh, that's kind of, that kind of goes hand in hand, like if we could do an exhibit of. Or somebody can do, not us, somebody could do an exhibit of with like a history class. And I'll get more into this part of it as we go on, but of how you dig up artifacts and do some kind of archaeological exhibit with the school.
Pam's done that, I think.
I think so. Actually, at the Maritime Museum, and Chad's on that board, they're putting up a new exhibit about Karankawa Indians. It's based on archaeology. So that would be a real good partnership.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And so maybe, maybe the commission could co-sponsor, a Saturday program with them.
That would be awesome.
You've got enough lead time.
That's, yeah, and the reason why I'm saying it, and I'm gonna jump just a hair ahead, is I'm gonna introduce a junior historian program that I kind of want to talk about as we go through. And that would kind of work well with, because we got to give the kids some hands-on. That's the whole thing, is to get people to do is they want that hands-on. So that would be something that I think would be cool. And how would we go about doing that? I mean, what's the process?
You would need an educated adult in archaeology that has time to
Oh, well, that's the
do a program.
that's
There's a few of them, but
Pam is the
Pam's
only
one
one
of
I
them,
know
but
of.
I know, but she probably doesn't have the time.
But Phil, she's got a husband that does work on it too. If he'd be interested, he may not, but
It's not hard.
Okay, so the question is, would you or your husband, or do you know somebody that would be willing to do it?
to actually
Well,
have
you
a
did
dig.
one last year, didn't you, Pam?
Yeah, we did one at the history.
It's kind of a, I don't know if we,
Maritime.
I don't know how.
Oh, I did a
that would
talk.
work, but
Yeah, yeah.
There's middens around that are on private property. There's the shoreline across Copano Bay, which you can find a bunch of stuff without trespassing. But
to actually have a dig would be very cool, but I don't know how that would happen, but just have some kind of exhibit. I don't know what the exhibit would be.
I guess that's for Curio County.
I was gonna say it, and half of that, back after this for very,
So,
an actual dig would be cool, but
well, an actual dig takes a lot of preparation. It
Yeah.
takes a certified archaeologist, even though there's no certification program. But anyway, what I have is an exhibit that's like shelf, like drawers, and each one is like a strata. Okay, so
Mhm.
starting with historic, going back to like prehistoric, earlier and earlier. It's all in a dig box, and the main person in town who's an archaeologist is named Dave Krotsky, and he's on the board at the History Center. And he
can you
takes
spell
it
his last name for the,
Kroskie,
okay.
Krotsky. And he works for Parks and Wildlife. So anytime Parks and Wildlife is doing something, he borrows all my stuff and does it. So, and like Sandy said, I've got a canned program on archaeology at the Coastal Bend, ready to go.
It's very
It takes me
interesting.
10
I saw it
minutes to
last
run
year.
home and get it. I mean, so I think he assigned that to a committee. I don't think this group has to plan it all out.
no,
Yeah.
but how do we assign it? I'm just looking for directions.
Sure.
I mean, how do we assign it?
Well, who wants to work on it?
I have no problem talking to the high school to see if I can get the high school. That could be a good little outing for them, if you will, a good little project.
But you gotta have the project.
Yeah,
Well, the Maritime is going to be set up by then. We're going to have that exhibit ready in the next 2 months at the Texas Maritime Museum.
Always say Texas.
Yeah, you might want to sit down and get a meeting with Justin over there. I mean, they're doing a lot of things already, especially with the younger children, right? You
Well,
know,
there's a lot of education and outreach that Shelley does.
Shelley,
For
right.
the little kids, but
Not-
the
nothing-
high school kids are mainly doing the maritime program
Mhm.
where they get to work on the Zabala boiler.
Okay. Mhm.
And I don't know if that's far enough along to celebrate it.
Mhm.
Every day it looks the same.
Okay, well, Chad, is this something worth even doing? I mean, or are we just not?
You probably need to have somebody receptive in the school district that has a group of kids that might be motivated to do it, like the maritime program, but it'd be different.
Maybe we could table it for 2024 because
There would need to be some sponsorship, I would think.
Mhm.
And then for an adult, like Jay Tarkington might be a good adult because he's good at stuff. like
Well, Ryan Edmonds is the director of the, and I've got a meeting with him and, I can't remember his first name, Letman, his last name. We're gonna be talking about the junior historian program in the high school. So I mean, I have to get a meeting with them first.
Mhm.
Well, if they're interested, we just haven't set that meeting time up, and of course, it's spring break right now.
that. Was there a history club at the school?
No,
High school?
no, that's what I'm trying to start.
Mhm.
Because when
Was
Mr.
our-
Jackson was teaching in
Mhm.
seventh grade, they had a club, the Armadillo Club, and those kids were
Mhm.
interested in history. And if the high school could have something like that, then maybe that would be a good group to target.
Yeah, and maybe maybe we should just table it until maybe the following October, until I can get all of my ducks in a row with the history club. All right. So maybe we can table that. That's a good project for the history club, though.
Mhm.
Well, you really don't want to take them out to do a dig. It's a very involved scientific process.
Yeah,
So, to think that they could do that is not right. The Victoria, there's a group in Victoria that does digs. They have labs on Tuesdays and Thursdays and go to the field every Friday. And that's a group that's actively has archaeology going on in the proper perspective.
okay. I'm just gonna start passing this around just as I'm kind of been talking about it. So there's the THC's junior historian program you can pass around. It's if anybody is interested in reading it, but okay. So I guess we'll just table it because I don't think we're there yet. Historical markers. Bad.
Well, I can do the first one if you want me to, the landmark marker survey,
Sure.
or do you want to?
Go ahead.
Well, we completed it. There were 15 landmark markers in Aransas County. And we had to photograph them 3 to 4 different ways, front, side, whatever. And so we broke out into several groups. And so we got it done. We missed the deadline on just one of the markers, but it's all sent in and I got a receipt.
Good,
They said
Good.
that
I
it
was
was,
wondering about that.
yeah, it's all sent in and I got a thank you from THC on that. So anyway, that survey, but it was kind of fun to do, but they gave us such a short deadline and then they extended the deadline. But other than that, it went along very well. So I think we were doing THC's work for them primarily because, if there was any changes.
That would be an interesting news article for the pilot.
The landmarker survey.
Sure, just bringing up, there were 15 landmarks in the county. I bet most people don't even know that.
Yeah. And then you said there was how many on the National Register?
Yeah. Did you guys know that there's 6 on the National Register?
I read that, something you must have emailed it or something, because I read it and I was.
Yeah.
I
So
thought that
here's
was
one.
interesting.
So in one of my training sessions,
Are they 6 of the 15 that we have?
Probably.
one of them is
Well, Fulton Mansion is.
Yeah.
And that was part of the
the
landmark.
Brock House.
And the Mathis house.
Yeah, so there, you can pass that around too if you want. Okay.
I thought that was interesting when you said that out.
How do you do? I'll get with you later. I'm gonna have to get with you later how to do the. I think that's a task for me, is to do a news release on the 15 landmarkers.
Oh, goodness. I don't need it. That's right now.
Okay, Chad.
Was Bubba going to the Klein building?
I think, I mean, Betty turned that in, so we haven't gotten it back. have we?
I checked again and I keep checking and I keep getting the same answer.
Yeah.
That they're behind.
It's at the Foundry.
No,
Oh,
it hasn't been finalized.
oh,
The narrative hasn't been finalized.
no, okay.
The process on that, Chad, is you send in the application and you do a narrative and then they send it back to you and they with edits. And then we re-edit. And then they send it back again. And consequently, it's when was the deadline? November 22nd, I think, was the deadline to get the marker applications in. Or was it sooner than that? Anyway,
Yeah.
Well, May
maybe.
15th is what the one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's okay. So it's been there a long time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just sent one out for new markers.
Yeah, you're right. It was, but anyway. So we're still in limbo on Klein.
So
Not-
they need to finalize the narrative. THC.
We've had two. We sent in a narrative. They
Right.
sent it back and they reworked it. And the way they do this is that they give it to college students to write.
Okay.
So we were missing some chronological stuff. So we wrote it again. They sent it back and it still wasn't right. So we did it exactly, the word count, everything that there was, and spacing and everything, and sent it. And since then, we haven't heard back. So I emailed them. I called Bob Brinkman 3 times and he's never called me back. So
And this is Seashell Shop in the same situation?
no, that's Betty.
Oh,
Betty can talk on that one if you need her to.
Well, see, so shell shock, which is hard to say. No, there's, apparently a few years ago, Barbara Gertner started working on this. And then, COVID came and it just kind of fell apart. Barbara is looking for her notes. But we met with the owner and she's amenable to it. And, Betty met with me and I met with her twice and she understands that she'll be paying half of the cost of the marker. And the owner of the property is a navigation district. And so the harbor master met with us. And after looking at it, it became clear that the traditional post would be challenging to put because the building's right on the property line. We have to tear up the sidewalk. Keith Barrett said he would, whatever, he will get it. He's supportive of it. And he said they will install it. But we feel that it would be better to do a building marker, and they do allow that for subject markers. So now we're just, it's a question where I've been doing some research to establish that it absolutely started in 1946. And Pam gave me some history about the building before that. It was Corky's Restaurant. And Phil Albin is going to be going through the old Rockport pilots that he has digital copies of going back. Again, we just have to establish that they were there in 46. And then what's the historical significance? It's a store. What I'm thinking is that, first of all, it's been female owned the entire time, and that's something that's popular today. It's a business that has survived hurricanes, COVID, et cetera. So anybody has any other ideas? And there's Doreen just let me know about this webinar that I can learn more about how you have to write this and what they're looking for. It sounds like a lot of being in business and out of education for years. I can see there's a lot of BS, you know what I mean? But anyway, a lot of double spacing and all this kind of like you're writing a term paper in college. It has to be 5 to 10 pages. But anyway, hopefully that will help me. And Pam, Jennifer Day. I talked to her because of course she's had such great luck with the cultural arts and everything. And she is sending me what they did to get the federal registry for their building.
Oh,
And so that should help me. And I can see looking at some of the other things that you gave me, Pam, like from the Jacksons and, this, first of all, I have to do a lot of writing about Rockport and just, to say it's kind of a BS project,
Mhm.
basically, but I'm gonna be in Houston quite a bit. But this is the kind of thing that I can work on when I have some downtime.
okay.
And it's a May something.
May 15th is the deadline.
Yeah, that's the deadline. Do you think you're gonna have it by that deadline or we're just, because it looks like we've already paid for it, right?
That was going back a few years ago. No, we have to pay for it again. That was in 18. So we'll have to get $100 from the county for the application. And as I said, I have to do the narrative and I don't know how long. It would seem to me, if worked a few days, you could get that. It's just a lot of it.
Yes.
Unless there's some, as I said, I'd love any other ideas. As Betty said to me, why is this historically significant?
Right.
That's what,
It's kind of like an icon. Being the newcomer, what I keep hearing, it's an icon. And starts the historic district businesses. That's what someone told me. That's what I keep hearing on and off from people. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I'm going to the webinar too.
Mhm.
So we'll learn together, I guess.
Okay, but I know that, as you said, that, and there's a few things that, and it was like, fortunately, the harbor master, Keith is very supportive, and because he's got to sign off on everything. And we have to get the property deed and he's got to sign off that because it's their land and their building.
Right. Yeah, because in this year's budget, we have filing fees for 3 markers and our portion, so we may or may not be spending that money is what I'm hearing.
I thought we had 2 in there, but I could be.
No,
wrong.
that's next year's budget.
Oh, and this in 23,
in
but
23.
this would be 24, as I thought, Pam, you said.
Yeah, this would be,
This would be,
24.
well, but we have to submit it in 23. So we submit it and pay for it in 23.
Yeah.
okay, so it would
But
be.
they don't ship it from the foundry till 24.
Right.
If we're lucky.
But the budget money would be 23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that might
It's
be.
$100. It's- You're not looking at.
Yeah, but then I've got commission, he's got commission portion of 3 markers. And that's like $2,800, so.
Well, let's
total.
finish our list and then we'll
Okay.
come back.
Yeah, we'll come back to it, okay. And then the next one is, someone told me the narrative was complete. Was that you, Betty?
No,
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Sandy Garrison worked on it a number of years ago, and before it was submitted, the owner died and so it just never happened. So there's a new owner. And if we want to pursue that, somebody needs to look into it with them.
I finally found the damn building. I was looking on the wrong side of the highway.
who wants to kind of take that on or do? we
Well, I
want to
have
take
a
that?
question on it.
Okay,
More than likely, and this is all budget related, is that the new owner probably wouldn't want to pay half. I mean, I would suppose, maybe not.
No, she was interested.
Good. Okay, well, I
Initially,
didn't.
I don't know that she knows how much it would be, but I think it's, that's worth pursuing.
Oh, absolutely.
Are we talking about Seashell Shop or Simon?
Simon Michael.
we moved on.
How much is their portion?
And do you know
No.
Simon Michael?
How much is
it would
it?
be.
1850 right now, but it could change.
Simon Michael, you know that property where his studio was?
Yeah,
Well, Chris Crowley and his wife bought all that and they've been cutting it up in parcels. And they would probably,
It's all been surveyed. I could see it.
yeah,
I saw the
yeah.
markers.
And I think they would,
on King Street. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, King Street.
510. You were right about the address. It was
Yeah,
510.
the Crowleys, I didn't know that they would be interested.
They wanted to tear down a long time ago and I just said, don't, please don't.
It's cute.
I told them how they could develop it and use it as an artist concave, but they need to make more money out of it.
So are we pursuing this or no?
Well, yeah, I think we need to pursue it. It's been requested to pursue it.
Okay, so who wants to take the task?
No.
I'm getting overwhelmed, so I
No,
can't.
no, I hear you. Well, I don't mind kind of initiating it. I can call the owner, see where we are with it. I can get that much done.
Okay,
It's in an interesting location, if it's where I'm thinking it is. Because I went back there up there looking for it one time and I was
Yeah.
going everywhere.
okay, so the rest of them, I just listed on the agenda. I listed the list that Pam gave me on the agenda, just so we don't have to do anything with it, but I just didn't want to lose it somewhere. So I'm just keeping it on the agenda for us to consider.
Well,
once we-
GSM is 100 years old, and I think it would be timely to do that one.
So I've been working on that.
Yeah,
and
okay,
There we
good.
go.
Right now, the status is they haven't responded. I talked to Blake in person. He sounded interested, but he had to talk to his family. I emailed him to follow up twice and went by their office once and didn't get a call back. I emailed Travis. I haven't talked to John. And Courtney Sanchez is going to approach John's wife and see if she can't get some answer out of the family.
Good.
I went to Cairo Dugan. I thought that her family house had been lived in by a guy Clark, but he never lived in that house there in Old Rockport and on the corner of Orleans. The best commitment that I've gotten so far is from Craig Griffith. And he's interested in one for the location of Charlotte Plumbers. It's been a restaurant for 100 years, but I would probably need to get with Jerry. If you have any help in going back that far to prove status of a restaurant.
Let's see. Maybe I'll have to think about that.
And then the
100
one
years
other
for
one
Charlotte Plumbers.
is, and I know.
Well, yeah, the Brock House.
The Brock House.
Yeah, that's the other. And I just got that one, so I'm gonna add that one on there.
Well, so really, we could have three. So Shell Shop is on the way
Mhm.
and the Brock House could be done, in an afternoon because it's already a National Register. That information's already ready.
Right,
But somebody needs to take it on. After our little committee meeting with Chad and we talked about others, I've been trying to get Show and Stop to respond. I went by and left mark things. I emailed them, I phoned them. And finally, just today, I heard that they were not interested because they didn't have the money in their budget. Okay. So the answer, Sandy, as to what it cost, it's about $1,800 for the marker, but we pay half and the owner pays half. So it's about $900.
I think that there'd be a Catholic individual that might.
Well, we would if we wanted to push it, but I
Well,
think we're only got budget for three. So I think we think Shell Shop and Brock House.
Mhm.
And then
Where is Brock House?
It's not on there. We're gonna add it on the other.
Alejandro.
Alejandro? Okay.
no,
Wrong.
it's on Cornwall.
Cornwall.
Oh, the White House, the stone house?
No, we're talking about
Oh, Angel Rose.
Bed and breakfast.
on Cornwall.
I thought she didn't want to do that.
LM Brock. She didn't want to do it until she got National Register and she
Oh,
got that. So
okay.
now she's ready
Okay.
Mhm.
and has inquired.
Right, because, and she also didn't know that.
So
Commissioner
I would
pays.
strike the rest of those, Doreen, and just leave, put Shell Stop number 1. And number 2, Brock House. And then, we can see whether GSM or Charlotte Plumbers comes around or whatever you want to work on. Shannon.
I just didn't want, I really just didn't want to lose the names of these things. That's why I kind of put them on there. Just-
We've got 1 and 2, and then
What was
3.
the third?
It could either be GSM if they respond, and the other option would be Charlotte Plumbers location as a 100-year a restaurant for 100 years.
Can you tell me what GSM is?
Last-
Sure.
I don't think so, because I have 1930 photography and that building wasn't there.
The McDavid's,
The
are
harbor
the
wasn't even there.
managing partners right now, the McDavid's, Blake and Travis,
Yeah, that's a
GSM?
insurers, yeah, the last
It's
McDavid.
Glass, Sorensen, and McDavid. Glass, Sorensen, McDavid.
Okay. Okay.
Well, my question is this.
So Jerry, did you say that wasn't?
No, it's not 100 years old. I've got 1930 photography in that. There's no building. The harbor wasn't even built in 45.
Okay, so there was no structure there.
No, not to my knowledge. I can look at it again, but there's the Castor Lands across the street owned a little piece of fenced property and there wasn't anything else. So,
But it only has to be 50 years old to get a
Right.
marker.
well, it may be 50 years old for sure.
Well, you want 3 GSM then?
Well, if it only has to be 50, it's still an option.
Well, do you think it can all be done by May 15th?
Well, I've never done it before.
I know.
I-
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just saying that we do have a deadline. May
Yeah.
15th.
Well, also, if Travis and Blake aren't that enthusiastic, that's the other problem. You know, in other words, if you need help, the woman like that's working there is enthusiastic. What can, come down here and talk with me. And the harbor master who owns the property is enthusiastic. So that helps me a lot. I wouldn't take this on if I had somebody that wasn't, interested
Good
too.
point.
Because I'd just be afraid I might spend a whole lot of time and then they might say, well, I don't really want to do that or whatever, or they might not.
Well, we had that
So-
with the duck inn.
Yeah.
We we really wanted to pursue
Well,
the duck
But
inn.
let's talk about the ones we might be able to do.
Let
So
me just finish my sentence. If
Simon
that's okay.
Michael,
The owners did not want to participate, so it went bye-bye.
So you still, is everybody okay with number 3 being GSM or Charlotte Farm?
I don't think we can decide till we know.
Right, well, what about the Simon Michael?
Yeah. And
Betty said that she will to talk to the new owner.
Yeah.
Because if the narrative has been done, that's the bulk of
That's
the
the
work.
big, yeah, that's
I
true.
mean,
That's a good point. Good point.
That's,
And I have the book with all the.
Well, why don't we do one, let's see,
Why don't we just keep pushing on Simon Michael and these other ones, and if something,
comes up. Yeah, I agree. If we can get something done, then let's
Let's do that number 2 then, Simon Michael.
Simon Michael is the easiest of the 3,
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So I'm good with that.
and the Crowley shouldn't have a problem paying for half of it.
No,
no,
Okay. All right. Can we wait?
So who's gonna do Simon Michael?
Oh,
Betty
yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Betty's gonna
yeah.
start on it.
I'm gonna start on it.
Okay.
And I think we got all 3 of them assigned, right? We have Betty,
Chad's doing GSM.
yeah, Chad's doing GSM, Betty Hatman's doing Seashell, Ben Stiles is doing Simon Michael, and Brockhouse is Pam.
Charlotte Palmer, right?
Yes,
He's already talked to Charlotte Palmer.
but I haven't had an actual meeting. I talked to him in passing at another meeting, and
Okay, well, we can just, talking doesn't hurt anybody, and we can,
if it doesn't work out this year, maybe next year.
next year, exactly. Can we wait for finance and budget until I do the other partnerships? Betty Hatman,
what do you mean? Not,
because aren't you presenting the budget part of it? 2024 budget?
well, I can.
No, I could do it too, but I'm.
Yeah. Because I think he's.
I just want to move on to public relations and outreach. So we can
Sure,
move
yeah.
on.
Mhm.
I know the calendars were delivered.
They weren't, they weren't very nice to us.
That's what I heard.
They weren't very nice.
No, it was it wasn't the school per se. It was they had security guards. They didn't want us in.
Oh, well,
And so we had,
yeah.
and they wouldn't help to carry them in, it was just it was not, it wasn't real pleasant.
Fulton Learning Center?
So my question is, do we want to do this for next year, the calendars?
Well, I think we've always done the sponsorship.
I mean, are we getting bang for our buck, I guess?
You
I
do
don't
because
think-
it goes to 200 families.
Okay.
Yeah.
mean, that's clear cut.
Okay, that's fine.
You're not gonna get.
I know families that, children have gotten it and that they have been very pleased with it. Just as an aside, with the Humane Society, we try to do a lot of outreach, and Fulton Learning Centers become our most challenging, that we just basically, nobody even wants to talk to us
Yeah.
recently. So I know there's been a lot of principal turnover in the school system. I don't know, but
Did Mrs. Cox just take over there, or is it a?
Yeah, I think she did. I think it was in the paper, wasn't it? That she was the new
I just can't remember
principal.
the name, but yeah. So,
Back in the day, we always had a real good rapport with the principal and then whoever was the
Right.
president. But, that was back in the day.
well, the principals used to really run the campuses historically. I mean, I was a teacher and now, it's a little bit different. And now I know anything you want to do, you have to go. And she's very nice, Dina Hill. If you need it, she works with the superintendent. Dina Hill's very, very nice person. And so she's really the start with the superintendent now. Just don't go to the principals have kind of been strict to some of that, so.
All right, website update. Doesn't Colin do that?
Well,
Theoretically.
the county has agreed to pay for a new website. And it's a $30-something thousand budgeted item. So I would assume, which is not a good thing to do, but that we are part of that, we'd be part of that process.
I just need to get with Colin on that because our website really needs to be updated.
They've just spent, it's been budgeted, the money's there. If they've hired someone to go ahead and do it, at this point, I don't know.
Okay, I'll just get with Colin on that. I don't know why I have the other events there. Okay, so I kind of talked about youth outreach programs. So I've already talked with, I just passed out something that THC gave me about a junior historian program. And basically, what we could do is start basically a history club in the high school. And my thought is to have the chairperson or the president of the history club be an honorary commissioner here, and we can give them projects and provide guidance and maybe some pay for their magazine. There's I've written costs on that wherever it went to.
Well, my question is this, why wouldn't it be a collaborative effort between the three entities instead of just us?
It can be. I'm just throwing it out. Do we want to do something like this? Because one of the things when I talked to Mr. Lutman is he was very interested. He's the theater director. He was very interested in taking, and I talked to Bubba about this, maybe taking Bubba's ancestor and doing a chat with the Casterlines in the ancestor at the cemetery on a Halloween. And they kind of like was the Bayview does, instead of doing a reenactment, they do a chat with some local
Ghost.
Rockport, ghosts basically local, and they act it out. And but they have to do the research. We can give them information, like Bubba could talk with them. They can take oral histories. They can do all this stuff, and we could give them the projects, kind of like we've been talking about, the archaeological exhibits, and then we can have them research markers for us, and do all these things that they can help us. We can partner with them. They're the doers. They can clean the cemetery, stuff like that. But we can partner with whomever else to get them involved. And it gets them active, gets them interested, keeps them off the streets per se. Hopefully we can get some recruitment into the commission, and we can get the families interested in history and the local history, and who knows, maybe it could bring in some tourist bucks if it grows. If they grow it, obviously. I mean, so I know the theater guy was like all on it. And he was like, yeah, that'll be great. It's a great project. And he's getting with the history guy, but I can't get with him till after spring break. So if y'all are amenable to it, there are some budget items on here for that outreach program, and it wouldn't start until next school year. So,
So for the 24 budget, there's some stuff.
well, I'm just letting you know. I mean, any
Right.
discussion on starting that, because I gotta have approval to do it first.
I think merging maybe with the other entities. Pam, what do you think? I mean, wouldn't that be something that the society and the History Center too would want to participate in or not?
That would be good. It's pretty ambitious for any of them to put more time into this. Let me think when it's opening April 15th at the History Center. It's going to be it's student art celebrating history.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have contacted all the history teachers and all of the art teachers from high school down.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see, we've never done this before, so we don't know what kind of response we're going to get. But that's been, an effort. But I had a person assigned to that. And we worked with a couple of teachers to create the guidelines for what this art would be, to suggest topics. And then she took packets to every single teacher that we wanted to be involved. So in essence, so we're already sort of doing that. The other experience that we've had was with the, with the 4-H group to clean historic markers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is better than cleaning tombstones.
Right.
Cleaning tombstones is kind of not a good thing because you can damage them so easily. But cleaning markers is pretty easy. You actually just spray on automotive spray and then sand down the letters so they show again after you've sprayed them all. Okay. And we took 4-H around and did about 10 markers in, a Saturday. So for a project, that's a pretty easy one. I love the idea of the chat and the cemetery. I don't think you need a junior historian group to do that. I think your theater guy is your best shot at this if he's really interested.
Well, he is very interested, and my thought is, I kind of wanted to start the program and then we can branch off into other things, because that junior historian program, there's a ton of things that they can actually do. They have to research. I mean, like for the chat with, I'm just going to say Bubba Casterline only because I talked to him about it, but chat with Bubba, then the history people have to do the research and kind of it's a collaborative effort, but there's other things that the junior historians can do. I mean, like, again, researching markers, maybe writing it up, some other things, projects that we can give them. There's a ton of stuff in there, and I can't think of it right now, but
well, it actually means organizing a club and having continuing meetings and having, an organization. So it really takes
it does.
A dedicated person, whereas from our group, we could do, a project here and a project there that's not going to take an ongoing commitment to the school.
Well, yeah, our group, the commission would just be project advisors. Oh, the other one was the vault, because they can do the vault. They can, do the data entry and stuff like that. Those are projects
But that's going to probably be an internship and it will cost money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could, but again, I mean, there's things we could have the high
But
school kids do.
it's been, but we've done that before. We've had the high school kids do it and it's $15 an hour.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then that was then.
It's in the budget. That's still a good price.
Yeah.
I saw something, yeah.
I don't know. Taking on a junior historian club is a big project. When I was at the university level, I did it for the university. group to the Texas State Historical Association. It was pretty big.
But I thought the history teacher, they kind of actually do
Right,
most of the work.
yeah,
You would need to find a sponsor.
you got to find that person.
Yeah, and I think I have. That's my point. I just got to meet with them. We've got to discuss it a little bit more.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't have to discuss it anymore than, but I just didn't know what you all felt about it. I mean, is this a no-go then?
I think you get the person first.
Well, yeah, I do. That's what I'm saying. I've
So
got-
you'll say they will start the club
Yeah,
and run it and.
So
they
what-
run it. All we do is advise them. And we bring the person in, they go through the meeting and we can actually, depending on how we do the charter and everything, I mean, we would just be the advisory portion of it. And we could potentially assign them like marker research or, whatever, give them a project. It's a club, so they would have to do this project, whatever archaeological, you know what I mean, archaeological month. Still didn't say it right.
That's okay. We know what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's just something that they do. They get hands on. We just kind of advise them. That's it. We're more of an
I think
advisor.
that whoever you're talking to needs to see if there's interest in.
Well,
maybe.
exactly, and that's what we need to talk about. It's Ryan Edmonds. So
Ryan Edmonds, he's the theater teacher.
no, theater teachers, Lutman. Brian Edmonds is the history director.
The guy who dressed up in
History department.
Mhm.
head.
power. Marathon to go.
Joe Fox, he's at sixth grade.
Well, I wouldn't table or not table, but I mean, yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's just getting it done.
Yeah.
So, whatever it lets
It's-
this guy put together
on the-
some kind of a presentation
Yeah,
Right.
and bring it to us. And
Yeah.
we're not going to meet again until September unless we have a call a special meeting.
right. And I just want to make sure you guys are kind of, if it's like, hey, we've done this before. It failed.
There's just a lot to do.
Well, I understand that. And
No, if the schools are willing to take up the head of it, and sometimes, somebody they like having another organization that they can kind of, float around.
Mhm.
It doesn't sound like it would be a huge financial commitment. That's, of course, the other issue. That we,
where's that paper I just passed around? Because there's information on that.
This
Thank you.
That
Right
one's
here.
got the handwriting on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you need.
Yeah, so really for financial issues for us would be the state meeting cost if we decide to send them.
Mhm.
And that's like $200 and well, it was $200 a night and $35 a student to attend, so we can sponsor a little bit there. For the chat with Bubba, that I'm not really sure of financials on that, only because we would have, there's costumes involved, and I don't know. I haven't gotten that far in my
Mhm.
discussion with Mr. Lutman. I think his first name was Bob. And with Ryan, like I said, he's got to find out the interest. Right now it's just we're taking baby steps, but I don't want to introduce something that's going to be too major for us to do because we can't do it. I mean, baby
Right.
steps. But I just kind of thought just to get something, going with the youth, with that high school group.
Mhm.
Well, would that individual be able to write a short letter to us stating their interest and their experience and background, and
Sure, why not?
just to kind of, so we can meet them on paper?
Yeah, sure.
So
I'm gonna have to
I'd say-
excuse myself. We've got
Yeah.
dinner guests coming up for 6:30.
Go ahead. That's
My wife
why
will kill me.
I knew this was gonna go a little long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you.
So we've got budget in the 24 budget for a new ISD program.
It was this.
So, but yeah, so it seems like if we approve that, then you could say
Right.
we could do some underwriting for them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I don't want to do anything y'all are opposed to.
No, I don't think anybody's opposed to it, but I can hear that there's no big sentiment that, oh, I'll run down there and, you know.
No, I'm already
I'm
in talks with
I'm a
them.
retired teacher and I, you know.
No, I'm already in talks
I
with
know
them.
that
This is
they're aware of
something
that,
that
right.
I,
So
Yeah,
you're
you're
raising
doing it,
your
right.
hand for this project.
yes,
Yeah.
I got the project.
Right, so.
I just don't want to go forward with it without your
Right.
knowledge.
Nobody's saying no.
No.
I
no,
think
it's not.
that if you get the whoever, the man at the school, the
Mhm.
history teacher, the theater teacher, or whoever, to buy into it and have a club, I think it would be very beneficial to the students and everything, and I think it would be a good thing, but I agree with Chad, we got to have, hey, I really want to do this, and this is what I need to do it, and it's gotta be
Yeah,
almost illegal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
mean,
I
You know,
agree.
you
I
gotta
understand.
stand in front of the lawyer's office and say, okay, what we gonna do?
yeah, no, I do understand that. No,
But I love it. I love the fact that we're venturing out and doing some things that we have not done before and incorporating a different group of people and
Mhm.
whatever. I mean, children,
Mhm.
not children, but young adults. And y'all, I'm so old. I remember when I was in school, we had all these fantastic clubs and we did all this stuff. And we learned so much from it and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And now we got to get that college degree before we get out of high school.
Yeah,
I don't
wow.
know if they still have the Armadillo Club since Mr. Jackson's retired.
And was that Bobby?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was well attended every time.
Oh, everybody loved Bobby anyway.
Yeah.
Well, so we've had it here with the seventh graders, shoot.
That was seventh grade.
Yeah, with the seventh graders, I mean, that's pretty good,
I
actually.
mean, but you got to have the person that's willing to,
I agree
you
with that.
know, and I don't know anything about the school system anymore since my grandchildren have. moved
Well,
on.
let me meet with, Ryan and, Lutman and, I'll let you, I'll send you an email and let you know how that meeting went. There's interest.
Okay.
They don't know if, I know the theater teacher is interested in working with the history group to put on cemetery tours and things like that. I mean, he's got this whole plan going that I'm like, oh, but, but I just, we haven't had the face-to-face yet.
Right.
They just said, yes, can you wait till after
Mhm.
spring break? So, all right. So now we can go on to the budget of 2024. I guess.
I have a comment to make on that.
Uh-huh.
We went up $1,000.
Yes.
What I do know is that when you ask for more money, you have to show up and give them the reason why.
Mhm.
You have to be able to do that, number one. And number two, Judge Garza has called a special staff meeting of all of his department heads and said they need to cut the budget 10%, not only this year, but next year.
Okay.
So I think if we stick to the 10, then we're not going to get any pushback.
I'm okay with that. I seriously, I'm okay. Dave and I talked about it yesterday because I told Dave the same thing. I said that, you know, we would get pushback, but we just wanted to put the 1,000 or something into that this new program. And
Well, according to the judge, that we're
Some of it.
$1.5 million shy this year and we'll be 3 million shy next year. So we want to push it, go ahead, but I don't want to
No.
lose it.
yeah, Dave said he was fine with staying at 10. So I mean, we could stay at 10.
And
And
I was
tell
on
me
that
where you-
committee and I sort of was thinking, it was been $10,000 forever and everything has gone up. Didn't we need to do something?
Well, when I was commissioner, it was 8. And I got it up to 2, up to 10.
10. We'll see by the time I came home.
And you started at 5 and Bubba Casterline, bless his little heart, he remembers when it was 2.
Yeah, he was talking to me the other day about
Yeah.
this budget, so
Yeah.
he kind of had a different take. The one thing that I can say is the website maintenance, Betty, we probably don't need 475 there. So that can be taken out.
Okay. Well, that's almost half of it.
Mhm. I don't,
It looks to me, I mean, we've never done the cemetery repair and cleaning.
Yeah,
That's,
so
Yeah, 1,500.
that was actually Bubba's little idea. But I think when we talked the other day, what I gave him, and you know, the ground penetration.
yeah,
He wants to use that for one of his ancestors in
right, in the Fulton Cemetery.
like in Fulton Cemetery, but he said he would pay for that.
well, how
If you
about,
went from a budget of 323 to 1,500, you could certainly remove. All you need to remove is 525 to get back down to
well, you
10,000.
got 500 in research.
Right, I mean, we can just,
remove
so if
that.
we just remove that 500, we just need to
And
find
we
another,
think we found 2 more cemeteries, so.
we just need to find $25 and we're back down to 10.
How about the name tags? I don't know if we're gonna need 4 new name tags next year.
They have gone up
I was
significantly.
gonna say 30, yeah. that's
Well,
a
your
lot.
appointments are for 2 years, so theoretically you wouldn't, you get appointments in the odd years.
True,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's your others.
So you want to just cut that down to 2 at 30 and that would be 60?
Yeah,
Okay, so, okay.
You got it.
I'll let him know. Thank you.
Okay,
That was-
if you'll resend.
That was
this
easy.
With the
Everything
corrections.
was that easy. That was good work.
all right, collections. Just so you guys know, THC kind of wants to get rid of the vault. I already told Betty and Pam that. They said to minimize what we have in the vault and to give everything, or we should partner with our museums. And everything we have should be on display either digitally or in a museum. But we haven't even gotten in there yet, so I don't even know what we could do.
Strange.
Well, we've got the scanner, we've got the computer, we've got it. Just has to be.
We gotta get in there, yeah.
Have you talked to Renee?
They're not even doing anything, but yeah, so I mean, it's just on hold, it's just on
Oh, it's
permanent hold.
finished. You haven't been in there?
No,
Yeah, it's painted and things are back on the shelves.
so we can get in there, cause last time I was in there, it looked like we couldn't, he didn't have everything set up.
Well, he's got the cable for
Okay.
the,
I'll give a call.
so that much I know is done.
I'll give a call. Yeah, I haven't talked to him recently, the last time I talked to him. Cemeteries. Again, and Pam can vouch for this. We were in our cemetery seminar. One of the things we do need to do is we need to update our GPS coordinates with the in the THC Atlas. So we have 9 cemeteries, and if we can, there's nobody here except for me and Pam. The cemeteries.
This would not be a hard job if you just went into Google Earth.
Yeah, all you gotta do is go into the middle of the cemetery and get the GPS coordinates. Can we get a couple of people? I could do Lamar, Rockport, and Fulton.
But why do we have to go to the cemetery if we can Google
Yeah.
Earth it?
Yeah.
Okay, Google, oh, okay, yeah, that's right, it's exactly what you just said. But I thought they said that that's not always accurate.
Accurate enough for
Is
THC.
accurate enough? And I gotta check that unknown out too. And I was talking with Jenny McWilliams. And we think we may have found 2 new cemeteries in the wildlife refuge, and that was the other thing I thought that we could get the kids.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, so after spring break, I was planning on taking a ride out there to see if I can talk with the game wardens and see if they'll take me out by the windmills just to even look, but she has some kind of map or something on that she looked down in there. I was like, oh yeah, we've got one here, we've got one here. And I did find that over on St. Joe's Island, there is a cemetery, but we can't get there.
Well, Jerry Brundrett's family ranched in the refuge, so he's a ready resource too.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then we've got another Bubba also told me of the Smith Cemetery and the Riley Cemetery. Anybody familiar with those? The Riley Cemetery is supposed to be a black cemetery here. So he and I were gonna kind of look into that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right, I know.
I've got to go. I've been working buttonholes over here, so y'all forgive me. I'll talk to you later, Doreen.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank y'all.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Gail. Good to
I'm
see you.
sorry.
See you later. Yeah, so we'll be looking into those and then, I know everybody's gotta go. And then the other thing that the cemetery, folks said that we need to, well, first off, we know we need to update all our cemetery books, but they would like to have them digitized. I thought that was another junior historian program project that they could do, so. But we could put that on.
So what, we have books at other cemeteries and they want that digitized?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, this is a lot of stuff they want, so
Mm-hmm,
wanting one hand, wishing the other.
mm-hmm. And by the way, there was another Sandy that was supposed to be doing cemeteries, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Bridges.
I'm holding my
Bridges.
breath when I drive by them, let alone go in.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll fix that.
I saw your name on there and I went, what?
Yeah, that was my bad.
I mean, I don't know.
I had it right on my paper and Richards, I don't know, Richard, I just said Richards, but anyway, okay. Jerry had talked about placemats. In one of our meetings, I don't know if, I guess we table that for old business. For the next meeting, because he was talking about inviting the guy to do some kind of placemats.
I don't know what he's talking about. Do you?
Yeah, I did.
I do think I remember something, but I can't,
At Baker Art,
Mhm.
they have a lot of items for sale for tourists. A lot of the art is turned into coasters or placemats or other things. So he talked to the guy about taking some historic photos, doing something with them.
Did he art nothing? I'll email him. I'll go see him about some maps anyway. Or do we have any new business?
I think you've covered new business
Yeah,
pretty well.
I think I did too. Okay, our next meeting is September 13th.
Before the marker nominations go to the Historic Commission, they have to be approved by this group. So they're supposed to be in, what did you say, March?
May
15th.
15th, yeah.
So you really do need to have, a May meeting, or can we do it over, internet, or can we do it today? I don't know. Can we say if, we kind of agree, can we say that if the Shell Shop, the Brock, and either Simon Michael or Sorrel Plumber get developed, that we approve they're being turned in?
Is that your motion?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying.
I second that.
Shell Shop, Brock,
All in favor?
Oh, yeah, well, hang on.
and Simon Michael,
Mhm.
Or Charlotte Plumber, yeah.
or Charlotte Plummer, so we're
It's a
looking at
motion.
3.
Yeah,
Okay,
I second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Next meeting, September 13th, 5:15
Okay.
p.m. Probably won't be this long. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Now make the
So
motion.
Okay, there you go.
Turn off the.
What is this?
So what, I just need to bring a laptop to the next meeting, do I?